think we're done. God, I hate this webcam. What a pain in the backside. Sorry about this. It's not working out very well. Right, good evening. It's Wednesday night, 7 minutes past 8. I've been trying to get this working since about 5 to. I'm so fed up with this webcam thing. It just, it's getting right on me wick. But unfortunately, I'm stuck with it because OBS live streaming software's got me bird box on it. So yeah, I'm afraid I'm stuck with the webcam for the time being. Mr. T, evening mate, how are you doing? How's life treating you, Mr. T? Danny says, I'll have to show that one, stop playing around with your tits. Yeah. And concentrate on the fishing. Yeah. I didn't even go fishing at the weekend, Danny. To be honest, I come down with something on Thursday. I know now it's not COVID because I had a PCR test on Sunday. But Thursday night I was shaking and shivering. And thought, oh, this isn't good. Banging headache. Freezing cold 1 minute, boiling hot the next. Thought, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? So that was another reason I didn't go on Saturday, apart from the fact that it was forecast rain on Saturday afternoon, right through feeding time at the lake. And the lake doesn't fish well in the rain. I thought, do you know what? The condition I'm in, not feeling very well in the rain. I thought, well, I'll stay home and do something else. And I needed that nest box up. So I just got the ladder house and a drill, got my cordless drill, and whacked a few holes in the wall and put the nest box up instead. Those blue tits, mate, they haven't come back since Monday. They came Monday about 11 o'clock, like put 2 of them, had a look around. Nothing else has been near that bird box since. There's a camera running on it 24/7. And nothing else has poked its head through that little hole. So, not going well. Looking around at some new rods. What have you got in mind, Mr. T? I like it when people buy new rods, especially when I've just got some myself, as you know. So your missus has had it, because one of my mates, his dad has had it too. Cold, shivering in bed. I've not developed a cough yet, but it does feel like I'm kind of edging towards it. That makes sense. But I've been okay so far. Like I'm fine now. Like it was been better every day. Oh, yes, high end, mate. High price tag. They're a proper set of rods, then. Nice. Yes. I went for Torix, and when I had a choice, like I thought about the high S, and I looked at them and I thought, Torix. But high S are at least rated as highly as the Torix, aren't they? I know people who've had both, and some of them prefer the high S. That's a proper dedicated tool, that one. Where are you going to fish, Mr. T? That you would use a set of rods like that? Yeah, well, I'm hoping mine goes, Danny. It's not. I'm not feeling as bad as it was, a few days ago. Like I do seem to be getting better, but PC hot test was negative. I was quite surprised at that, but in a way pleased. But I don't think COVID's the only nasty going around at the moment, is it? Like there seem to be a few others as well. I did wonder if I had flu, because I've not had my flu jab this year. I went for my COVID booster in November. I was supposed to get the flu jab as well, and they only gave me the booster for COVID. I didn't get the flu jab. So I was thinking maybe I've got flu. But it seems to be going anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Continuous cough night and day, but still negative. Yeah, well, as long as it's negative, mate, that's all right. It's funny the way it comes and goes, isn't it? It's just like it ebbs and flows. You get it, you think you've got rid of it, then you end up feeling worse. You might end up with long COVID, mate. Apparently, that's debilitating. You certainly don't want that. You've got the E class, right? Okay, so you're just stepping up. I don't know what the E stands for in E class. Is it economy? Is that what the E stands for? I don't know. I know that the high S is the high end ones, aren't they? They certainly a beast of a casting rod, mate. The high S. You'll pay for them, mind. I don't know how much a pair of them's going to set you back, and you won't get much change from about 600 quid. In fact, at the rate of inflation, the way it's going, it might even cost you more. Yeah, that's right, mate. So we're all going to get it eventually. I think that's what he's aiming for, herd immunity. But herd immunity is going to come at what price to people's futures if they get the long version and it means they can't work anymore or anything like that. It's just you don't know what it's going to do to you. I guess we'll just have to see. Ouch, 1,300 quid for free. That's like £433 and 33 pence. 1,300 quid for a set of rods. Jesus. That's a lot of money. How much did I shell out for mine? 800. Might have been 800 for me Torix. And they were only 800 because I had my name put on them. And that added an extra 60 quid to the price of each one. You get your name on them, Mr. T, for that price. You can have your name put on. Actually, I've had my name put on my rods. I can't really sell them. I mean, I was never going to sell them anyway. But if I ever wanted to move them on and replace them or anything like that, I can't really sell them with my name plastered all over them. So it's although it's nice to have and a bit of a tarty little thing, I'd highly recommend you don't. Especially when you're especially when you're paying so much for them. Like, because if you do have to replace them, you know, another 10 years down the line, like them, you know, someone would still buy them for, you know, a decent chunk of money off your next set, but not with your name on them. Not bad if you think the top end carp rods, top end match pole is 5 to 7k. Yeah. Different league, the match finishing, match fishing though, isn't it? Gold crusted. Don't drink or smoke. No, I don't either, mate. Don't drink or smoke. I can't because I drive, and you know, okay, I'm working from home at the moment, so I haven't had to drive my car for the last few years every day. But when I'm in the office, I'm going to work every day, and I'm driving to fishing on Saturday. And there's no time for me to drink and not be over the limit next morning. So I just don't bother drinking anymore. I'm just a drop in years. Besides, I think it makes you look old. Sooner or later it gets to you, and you just end up looking wasted. Because it's not good for you, is it? Let's be honest. That we all, you know, all done it in the past. Like, it's not great for you drinking. Not good for your health at all. But yeah, I don't bother myself, mate. Just go fishing. Seat box and bivvy. 260. 8 meter whip and 280. Yeah, do you know what? I mean, 280 is a high end carp rod, Danny. You know, proper casting tool, 280 quid. And yeah, you know, an 8 meter whip costs that. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? Our carp rods are, you know, compared to like match fishing stuff, our carp rods aren't actually that expensive. Hard to resell when you want to change, exactly, mate. Yeah, I made that mistake. But I love my Torx. I'm never going to get rid of them. I may well buy another set of rods, but I will always hold on to them because I do like them. I really use them these days. They're confined to like long range fishing. So if I go down Gailey, I'll take them with me. But anywhere local where the waters are smaller and I haven't got to cast very far, I just use 12 foot. I've got a set of TFGs, 12 foot, 3.5 pound test curve, and I'm quite happy using them. They're a lovely set of rods. I think they're the same as the Free Spirit E-Class, to be honest. And I paid 120 quid for the set of 3, brand new. Beautiful set of rods. You're paying for quality. Yeah, all the cheap whip. Yeah. Yeah, the price of gear just seems to be going up, doesn't it? I know I've had an email from the place I get me cameras and hooks from. It's a trout fishing website. And he sent me an email saying the way inflation's going and that, you know, the delivery pipelines are all messed up. Prices are going to be rising in the spring, and the new stuff that's coming out is it's not going to be cheap. Everything's going to go up. And they were advising to anything you want, get it now while you still can, at the price you can, because, you know, come May, April, May time, like it's going to be that bit more expensive. So I'm not bothered myself, like, because I don't need any gear at the moment. In fact, I've got too much of it. So I've got rods, reels, and anything I need. Literally, I've got 2 or 3 of everything. So include broys. The only one thing I haven't got is 2 cold balls. But I will be getting another one of them for those 9-foot rods. But yeah, I'm okay for everything. I'm okay for hooks and tackle and stuff like that. I don't need to buy any of that. I've got loads, and I'm off boilies anyway, so I don't use boilies for bait at the moment. So I'm quite happy I can keep the price down. Best rods have held out the Corum Excaliburs, 150 quid each. And your 14-4, the Acolyte's well known, so it's a great rod, Danny. But I tell you what, mate, there's a lot of anglers around who aren't fans of Corum. I know a few people who've said that, but it. 30 quid phase ones, yeah. Whatever rod you end up with, Danny, you're just going to use it, aren't you? You can spend a fortune on them if you want, or you can just use something cheap. At the end of the day, it's still the same thing. As far as carp rods go, you're not holding them all day. Talking's going to make me cough. You're not holding them all day. They're sat on the pod for 99% of the time. So you can be a little bit heavier and clunky, and they're still okay. I try to get my rods as light as I can, like, because I don't want to walk around with them and carry them around. I prefer them lighter because obviously my shoulder's goosed. So I still prefer high end and as light as I can get, but some of the cheaper stuff works fine. It's not the gear, it's what you do and where you put it that counts. Nice, this cup of tea. Did you go at the weekend, Danny? Anyway, did you actually go fishing? I've had another week off. Fish 1 week, have a week off. Fish another week off. Just can't seem to get back. Well, I seem to pick up where I left off when I go, like, but I can't get back into consistency of going. I think I've only been 3 times in the last 6 weeks, something like that, since the turn of the year. Just not been out very much at all. The travel around companies, what people see on my blog is what I use. No issues with Corum. I know people who have. Mark did, didn't he? Mark from down south. I'll tell you this name now because I can never remember it. Hopeless me when it comes to stuff like that. You know who Mark is, don't you? He assassinated Corum in one of his videos about their landing net, publicly humiliated them. Mark, where is he? Where are you, Mark? I know he's Mark Edwin. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you've got it, Danny. That's it. Yeah, he publicly assassinated Coram in one of his videos, and funnily enough, one of my mates, Mike, assassinated them at the weekend over, I think it was one of their rods. He's not happy with it at all. Like, I think it's broke. Well, it's actually broke. So, although they do some alright stuff, like they're not a perfect company by any stretch, are they? But nobody ever is. Someone's always gonna complain. I stopped watching his channel. Oh right, okay, so you won't have seen this video then. Yeah, he did a hatchet job on him, mate, over one of the landing nets that broke while he was trying to land. Wasn't sure it was a big barbel or a big chub, and it went on him. And he was not best pleased about it, especially as it was brand new. But that's the power of YouTube. If you get something like that and something goes wrong, like you can you can have a go at someone, can't you? This has happened to me, and it's all on film, and they can't argue with it. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll tell you what happened to me, mate. When when he had the problem, I'll tell you what happened. I think his rod broke. So, let's see. I'm just trying to find out what he was moaning about. I'll be just looking in a sec. No, I can't find it. I know he's not happy with something. Like, I'll have a look and see what it is, and I'll tell you next week. Like, I just need more time to look through what's going on. But he's not happy with Coram anyway. Slating him for being able to protect it with the spots. Yeah, well, it's that age-old thing, in it, with YouTube, Danny. You've got to protect your spots if you want to protect them. I mean, there's some that you don't need to. You're on a public day ticket water, like, you can just do your stuff and that. But I think on small rivers like the Loddon, where Mark fishes a lot, the fish are in pockets, and if you find out where they sit in those pockets, like them, you've got to try and protect them. I think that's why a lot of his fishing's after dark, apart from the fact that it's such a small river and you've got to fish in the dark. You can't really identify where he's fishing, which is great. But there are always going to be people who ask, "Where's that, mate? Where's that, mate?" It's one of the most common questions you get on any YouTube channel. Where you fishing, mate? What lake's that, mate? Because they all want to go there. I don't answer any of those. Where you fishing? Just say private water. Yeah, you don't want no drama. Yeah, I don't like the drama either. Quite happy just to bobble along, doing my own thing. Like, yeah, go fishing, spend time with your family. That's all it is. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, Danny? You're if you put them out there in the first place, then you're kind of asking for it, really. Um, I don't make habits of mentioning mine, naming them or anything like that. I don't do it. Never name them publicly. Just say it's private water. But people will always, go an extra level to find out if they want to. Of course, you still may not get it or get on it, depending on what the water is. But you do your best to at least try and keep your fishing normal. I usually make sure I'm done with somewhere before I film anything. Just make sure that you've had what you wanted from there, and if it did get dived on, then it's not going to be a great loss to you. I do weekly vids, and I got about 2 to 3 years from the spot. But accept the trade, making videos on the internet. Yeah, that's fair enough. If you can get 2 to 3 years from a spot while you're filming, then you're still doing all right. That's a lot. To be honest, if you're still fishing the same spot in 2 or 3 years' time, it's probably time to move on anyway and do something else, because you don't want to really stagnate. I try and move on as much as I can. I've been stuck on the same lake at the moment, like for a year or two now, because of carp illness in the family. But I'm ready to move on. Planning to move on this year, but I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, you're ready to move on by then anyway, so it doesn't matter. I usually move on within 2 years. I'll fish a lake 1 year, and then if I fish it the next, I'll rarely do a third. Very rarely. Yeah, he's all right, Mark. Like, I still I chat with him now and again. He's all right, but he's not doing my type of fishing really. I'm a carp angler mainly, but I like that he's an all-rounder, and he certainly knows how to catch him. Yeah, he's ready to move on. Yeah, well, my videos aren't focused on the lake or the spotlight. They're more focused on the techniques or the tackle bait. Just specific issues, rather than this is this water and this is a swim and this is how I'm going to fish it and get the best out of it. It's more about the other stuff. So the waters I'm fishing, it's not the focus of the attention of the video. That makes sense. So, I think if you focus too much attention on the water, then you're asking for people to come and find you. And like you said, there's a lot of people who will come looking for you, finding your baited spots on the canal and stuff like that springs to mind. It is, yeah. It's easier to be like that with carp fishing. Yeah, there's a lot involved in it. lots of stuff to talk about and stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, stick floats are a bit different, isn't it? Yeah, with the stick floater, there's a lot about the swim and how you run the float through it and stuff like that. It's you're right. It's not carp fishing. Carp fishing is just a lot more laid back and easier. Yeah, I thought that was quite funny that people were following you to try and see where you were baiting up. That was actually quite hilarious. But it just goes to show you the lengths that people will go through. I wouldn't mind, but it actually spends half the effort actually walking up and down the canal to find the fish in the first place. Or even if they lamped it after dark. It was the big 500 candle power head torch and just went along the margins in the dark. They could easily find the fish. Just go walk it with the light on. And yet they're following you around rather than, just finding their own way. I don't understand that at all. It's far more satisfying to find your own way, to be honest. But there's always people looking for shortcuts, isn't there? You said in one bit of bait up on a Thursday. Yeah, okay. Two lads on the actual spot stood there in the rain. What would you were waiting for? You stood on your spots waiting for you, or you spotted a lamppost in one of the videos? And they said we baited up on Thursday nights, and they've been there 3 hours waiting. I like that. That's funny. I tell you what, I would not waste 3 hours of my life standing on a canal, to see someone bait up. I don't understand why anyone would do that. Oh well. Had they found your spot, Danny? Did they fish it? Did they catch anything? Or don't you know? Let's have a look. What tells the review? Mark's face was a picture as he was new to YouTube and he like that with anything. Yeah, well, people do watch, mate. Hi, Danny. Hi, Mark. Yeah, that's a bit too much, isn't it? Yeah. I get people who recognise me every now and again. Not very often, like just now and again. I think they get fed up with me moaning though. I usually end up start banging on about simple rigs and how stupid carp anglers are today for using the Ronnie rig and a pink popple. Dead easy to put people off. Just be a grumpy old man. gave him the best advice. Let's make your own spots in another area. As carp travelled far. Yeah. They moved on. Yeah, and had a few. Well, at least they had a few. But yeah, you're right. They travel long distances on the canal. What they can do. Sometimes you may stay in the same area for ages, but especially when the water's warm, they can probably travel miles, miles and miles. And the same on the river. They can be caught a long way up and downstream. You just get about, and you try and tell people that. You don't even need to find them. Sometimes you just need to pick a spot and dump a load of bait in, and then sit on it and wait. And if they're out and about during the night, they'll come round. Anything food they come across, they'll demolish. So sometimes it's just a case of doing the night, fishing over bait, and then just waiting for your rod to sound. It's literally that easy of fishing. You don't even need to work anything else. Just pick a spot and put the bait in. But it can be literally that easy sometimes. That's how easy it was for me on the Weaver. I fished the stretch of the Weaver, the Oak Tree stretch, around the Blue Bridge on the Norwich card. And I fished there, and there was no fish in my swim when I turned up, but I knew they travelled, and they travelled during darkness. So I'd turn up with last light, pile a load of bait in, put the rigs in, and then sit there till morning. And I don't think I blanked doing that at all. Just literally hammered the place. So you've got a load of messages here. Always seem to come through, don't they? At least he had a few, Danny, anyway, and they must. I think once you caught a few as well, you realise that the canal's not that hard. And I know everybody talks about location and stuff like that, but sometimes it's the easiest location of all is just to sit and wait for them to come to you. And, if they're on a night when they're hungry and they'll travel, then you'll get them. Granted, if you can find out where they hold up and fish the holding areas, you've got probably a better chance, but doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to catch them over a period of time. If you're there 24 hours or overnight, then you should still get your chances. Yeah. What happened to your? You were going to do a better quality canal video, Danny. What happened to that? I can't remember what it was you said you were going to do, but it was like like a whole journey kind of video that you were going to film and then release it at a later date. Rather than just like blog your sessions one by one, you were going to do a whole on the canal. What happened to that? Is it one of those ideas that went by the wayside, like 99% of mine? I've got to tell you what, mate, I've got a book full of ideas for videos. I write them down, I'll be sitting here and then all of a sudden something will pop into my head, and I have a pen here on the table and a notepad. My notepad on the floor. One of these little notepad, and as you can see, there's pages and pages and pages of ideas for videos and stuff like that. There's an absolute stack of them. Every line's an idea written down, and you know, if I was to actually make all the videos on here, I'm not sure I could do it in my lifetime. There's that many of them. So you just think of things, they pop in your head randomly, like you think, oh, I might make a video about that. People might want to watch that. That's a good one. That's a good idea. Some of them are cracking ideas, and some of them probably will flop, but they are what they are. But I'm always coming up with the new angles on stuff and different things to make videos on. But it just I'm good to come up with the ideas, like, but a bit short on filming at the moment. But hey ho, I will get out and make some more, I promise, this year. We did start it, but it was not the same as the year before. And the weed didn't grow, and it just never happened. Right, okay, yeah, so fair enough. Sometimes things change. The creatures of habit until their circumstances change, and then they change their habits. So, thankfully, that doesn't happen very often. I think you were probably quite unlucky there. We did the same stuff, but it was just busy. And as soon as you fish became the biggest drug dealer news around. And I was catching the car, so it felt like he'd reached the pinnacle. Couldn't be what you'd done. Good as it gets. Yeah. Well, the Canal 30 is as good as it gets, Danny. But there's very few of them around. There is one or two in Cheshire, if you know where to look. But they're very, very rare. Happy journey. You didn't have the same drive. No, I think once you've cracked it, and you know it's, because when you first look at a canal or a river, you just think, oh my god. And everybody else is the same. Most people, most anglers, even experienced ones, they're arscos. When you say, well, go on a canal or a river, they're literally, they're arscos. They bottle it. They're so used to lakes and knowing what's in there, and knowing that there's a stock of fish, and there are so many big ones and so many little ones, and they know everything. They know the ratio of commons. They know the names of all the fish that are in there and everything. And you try and get them to go on a canal or a river, and they just think, well, I could be wasting my time not doing that. And you won't take a chance. I never understand why people don't take a chance on canals and rivers, because the fishing's usually easier than the lake. Last year's story, happy journey. Catching bream, not a clue about carp to learn, and then the Canal 20. Some stories, certain points need to be left at that point. Right, okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a journey, isn't it? That's what it's all about. I'm trying to look ahead, me, rather than backwards. Where am I going? Where am I going this year? What am I going to do? How am I going to make the most of my time? That's what they're the questions that occupy my mind most of the time. How am I going to make use of 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday afternoon and get the most out of it. Pick a water, you know, pick a target, something to aim for. How am I gonna keep consistent on 6 hours? What can I do? Where can I go? I'm quite happy to fish harder waters, like, you know, could go back on Cape Stonehall, where, you know, 6 fish a year is average. I don't mind catching 6 fish in a year. That's okay. But I'm always asking the question, like, how am I gonna get fish out of that lake on 6 hours? This is one of the first things I ask myself when I look at the water. And that question occupies my mind an awful lot. Yeah, tench, carp, barbel. Yeah, my barbel journey's over for the time being. I've not done much barbel fishing since, what, 2016, 2017, when I did that small series of videos on barbeling. I've not bothered since. I've gone back into carp fishing. So, and to be honest, the way things are, I can't travel 60 or 70 miles in a day to go fishing now. I need to be able to get home handy. So until my life circumstances change, I'll probably not see the River Severn for a good few years. Nothing to do with, you know, me not wanting to go or anything like that. It's just that if family circumstances are dictating that I can't be 60 or 70 miles away from home on any day. So my barbel fishing's, I'm not going to be making another barbel video for quite a while. I hope to one day, but for now, I can't. Still fancy doing a bit of lure fishing though. I fancy not bothering with the canal and maybe moving on to running water and maybe go back on the River Dee. But we'll see. Yeah, I've been back, Danny, a few times. I mean, I first fished it 1996, 95, 96, through till 99, 2000. And then I didn't bother until it came under PA control, and then I went back a few times. 2008 maybe, 2000 and a few more again in 2012. Can't remember the last time I was there. I can tell you because it's stormy photos in dates. So the names of the photos is a date. So if I open up my Cape Storm folder, the last entry will be the last date I was there. That makes sense. Helps me keep everything in chronological order, because I've got folders and folders of fishing pictures, thousands of them, I don't know, 10,000 pictures going back over, what, 30 odd years or more. So let's have a look. Cape Storm. Right. The last time I was on Cape Stonehall was 2012, 10 years ago. And that was, you know, a good 12 years after I'd last fished it. And going back was, it wasn't the same. You know, the first time round was the journey. You know, when I fished it regularly and I cracked it and I loved fishing there. But towards the end, you know, when you're bored with the place and you want to go somewhere else, you know it's time to go. And I had some great memories of that place. But in the times I've been back, I went back in 2010 2011 and 2012, but only in October. That was the only month I went back. I didn't bother with any of the others. Just October, for one specific reason. The times that you can leave change, and the clocks go back in October, so you got an hour into dark. Well, you'd end up with a couple of hours into dark, because it's getting dark at 5 o'clock and you can stay till 9. So you get like 3 or 4 hours into dark, and that was still vulnerable in that time. So I went back then like and I'd fish each year. But yeah, 2010, 2011, 2012. And of course a few fish. And you know what? I think apart from one, they were all repeats. Of course them all before. So it was nice to go back and know you can still catch them, but at the end of the day, it's no, it's not the same, mate. Don't think it tarnishes the memories, but it doesn't make good new ones. That makes sense. It's not the same. Happy times and happy memories, mate. It was brilliant. You know, that water was, well, it's a proper history water. You know, as carp fishing goes, like it's right up there. It's seen a lot of good anglers over a lot of years, right back to the 1960s. And those fish, they know every single trick in the book to get away from you. And I think if you can catch fish out of Cape Storm, or you can catch them out of anywhere, you've got a good understanding of carp fishing, and you should have no fear of anything. And that's pretty much what I left there with, no fear of anything. And I think what I learned in my time on there has done me proud over the years. Yeah, how you felt with the Canal. By the end of that year on the Canal, I was getting bites nearly every time we went. Yep. Course of 20, you notice fish bigger. Yeah, I was happy then. The second year we went back, Mark was fired up. But I was like, not feeling it yet. Yeah, and that's just in 1 year. I mean, I spent 3 years on Cape Storm, something like that. The first year I caught 6 fish, which was average. You know, if you fished every week from the beginning of the season through to winter, you would catch roughly 6 fish, would be average across everybody on the lake. Obviously, those figures would tilt a little bit. There's always people who are going to catch like 30 or 40 fish, and there'll be others who maybe get 1 or 2 a year, but over the course of the season, 6 was the average. And I caught 6 in my first season, like, so it was strictly average. My second season I had 24, so obviously I managed to improve a little bit. And I think in my third season, I think I had 14 or 15, but I was bored and I already started fishing somewhere else, like, so I didn't spend the whole of the third year there. Because there was only 55 fish in the lake, and I think I was, I'd had like 40 something. I think I finished up with about 45 of them. So, I was only really fishing for like a handful of fish. And you can't spend forever just trying to catch them ones while you're getting repeat. So I moved on. France, yeah. I hated France, mate. Didn't like it at all. Never taken to it. Only ever went once. That was in the 90s. I went to the Dream Lake. And, you hear all the stories and stuff like that, and you go over there, and it's nothing like you'd expect. But every glory story that you see, there's everyone else on the lake that trip has had a bad one, because the fish are usually localised in a certain area of the lake, and if you're the one who's on them, great, and if you're not, you're going to blank. And I struggled my bollocks off. I think that, you know, Saturday to Saturday, because he dropped it off on a coach on Saturday morning, like, and we're leaving Saturday morning the week after. Saturday to Saturday, I didn't get a bite until Thursday, and I'd moved. I had to move swim to get the bite in the first place. So it wasn't good. Yeah. I love the winter carp fishing, mate. It's the best time of year ever. I mean, I'm catching fish now, like I've been catching them this winter hand over fist, which is the first time I've done for a while. But in previous winters, I've caught more fish in winter than in summer. Literally, there's not as many people around, and the carp are actually quite localized. And if you can find them and exploit them, then you can catch all the time. Like they have the holding area, they'll have a winter holding area, and if you can get on that holding area, you know, your quid's in. And if you can get on there and start catching them and not be seen, you're it's like the keys to heaven. Now, Mr. T, bad about Francis, you pay the same as everyone else. You're not on a fish, it's pointless. That's exactly right, mate. It's awful. If you're watching, you're sat there all week not catching fish, making cups of tea, watching, hearing the buzzer down the bank going, and you know, someone's catching 40s and 50s and 60s and getting buckets of water thrown all over them, while everybody else is just kind of like the binoculars on them. It's no good. No good at all. And I wouldn't mind, but usually when you block, you know, you're on one of these lake exclusives, like when you book the lake, they say, oh, don't worry, there's loads of room to move around. And there's, you get there and you find out, you know, 30 odd swims, there's 4 spares, and they're little hidey hole swims between the main pegs. And actually, they're not really suitable for moving into in the first place without encroaching on someone. It's just, they tell you these things. Oh yeah, don't worry, there's plenty of pegs to move around to. So you pay your money, and when you get there, you think, well, lying bastards. And I never went again. That was it for me. Like that one time is the only time I've been. And like I said, that's 25 years ago, easily, 97. Something like that, about 25 years. Yeah, you're better off getting an exclusive booking, Danny, and having a lake to yourself, just you and your mates, and then you can do what you want. You know, going on trips where there's so many pegs and you have to fill them all, not good. That's right, mate, you can't walk around and find them. But ironically, that's what I did. I got bored, and there was 4 hidey hole pegs to move into, and 4 of the lads beat me to it. The morning I was going to move into one of those hidey hole pegs, I'd taken a bucket round to bucket one of those swims and found 4 bibbies in them. And the lads that had moved were in a row, 4 of them. So up one of the arms, there was 4 swims with no lines in. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'll keep an eye on that area. So I was doing laps of the lake, like, and wondered, and I thought, well, there's no point moving into their swims if the fish aren't there and they're not catching. What am I going to do? So I just kept an eye on the area, because it's got a lake that's got lines in every swim, and there's 4 swims with no lines in. You can guarantee that's where the fish are going to go. It's carp fishing 101 for me. That fishing pressured lakes, you know how they're going to behave. And sure enough, like on one that walks around, a fish head and shouldered out, about 70 or 80 yards out from one of these 4 pegs. And I never moved so fast in my life. I was packed down and installed in my new swim within an hour, and I was straight on the area where that fish had rolled. And I had 4 fish on the Thursday and 2 on the Friday before we left. And to be honest, I think I'd have probably had a few more had we stayed longer, but obviously we had to come home on that Saturday. But yeah, it's I got there in the end, like I caught 620s in the week, between 20 pound an ounces and 29. I lost what felt like a 40. I didn't see it, but I totally up and down the margins for about 20 minutes before the hook pulled. And I was so pissed off. I would have got me buckets of water for that. But yeah, it worked out for me in the end, like, but only because I worked at it and didn't sit in my bivvy. I didn't like the setup the way it was, and I wasn't going to do that every time I went to France after put up with doing that. So I sacked it off and never went again. Look, there's not many downsides to being a weekly vlogger. A huge one is you can't really do campaigns. Do you know what, Danny? I've not done many campaigns, but the ones I have done have always paid off. You know, they work really, really well. I tend not to do them because I get bored easily. But my Cape Storm fishing was a campaign, and I had most of the fish out of the lake. Same with Hatchmere. I did a campaign on there and hammered the place. And for the last 2 years on the water I've been fishing, okay, it's not a big water and it's reasonably easy fishing. But the campaign I've done on there, well, it's turned into a campaign. I've hammered it. Absolutely hammered it. Campaigns work, mate. They really do. But most of the time I tend to do like a couple of months on one water and a couple of months on the other, because I like to keep it interesting and different. But because I'm not doing a campaign, I don't usually catch as many fish. That makes sense. But campaigns work, mate, without doubt. Do the research and know the lake. Yeah, that's it. That's all what it's all about. Just being there as many times as you can, as often as you can. Work the fish out, understand them. Once you understand their behaviour, then usually they're quite easy to catch. Four-acre lake for 3 of us, $5.30 each. Bloody hell. Oh yeah, includes the crossings. That's fair enough. Yeah, not bad. So you had to pay crossings on top. Yeah, and that's the thing with going to France. When I went, I bought a new bivvy. So it wasn't just a 500 or 600 quid for the coach and the fishing for your peg. Is another 250 odd quid on a bivvy. I bought a Rod Hutchinson 2-man Apotheosis at the time, and believe it or not, I've still got that bivvy and it still works. I don't tend to use it much these days, like, but it's still a functioning bivvy. 25% now. 25% 10 weeks before you go. Yeah. It's not a bad way of doing it, Dan, is it? It spreads the cost as well. So you haven't got to kind of do it all in one go. Yeah, I've still no intention of going back to France myself, Danny. I think I'm just going to stay clear of the place. I might go in and retire, but at the moment, I couldn't take a week's holiday over there. I've got to stay close to home. But maybe one day, we'll see. I do fancy doing another campaign somewhere though, if I can find the right water. I have quite enjoyed this one, like, because I've got right into those carp's heads. And, I've been knocking them off good and proper this year and this winter. I'm certainly up to at least 2/3 of the lake's population in about 8 months, something like that, which is pretty good going. The garden pond. Yeah, I'm looking for the fun adventure, mate. I don't know where I'm going to find it though. And you managed to get Mr. Carrot. Mr. Carrot's a ghosty, isn't he? Is he a ghosty? An orange fish. I've seen the hunt for Mr. Carrot. Can't remember. A koi, that's it. Ghosty, koi. Always getting them two mixed up. Better in the water than those. Yeah, they always look like that, Danny. But they're usually hard to catch the koi because they're so brightly coloured and easy to see. Like, usually everybody throws a bait at them and they're dead fussy. But you know, if you can actually catch it, that's all right. Good going. Right, it's 9:15, so I'm well over my hour now. I've got an hour and 8.5 minutes on the clock here, so I think it's time to call it a day. Bright yellow. Is he starting to lock down? Well, it's not so much that it's a letdown. It's the fact that you caught it in the first place, mate. You know, those, like I said, those bright fish are usually hardest to catch. Yeah, at the time for you, mate. I'm gonna clear off. Nobody else has said anything this evening. Like, there's constantly been about 4 to 6 people in here, and apart from Mr. T, nobody said a word. Yeah, cheers, Mr. T and Danny. Nobody else said anything, so I don't even know who's been here. But yeah, thanks you two for keeping the stream going tonight. It's been very, very quiet. I'm planning to go fishing on Saturday, so hopefully we'll have something to talk about next week. We might well call each other yeah, next week, Danny. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been the Danny and Mark show. Right, thanks, mate. Anyway, for being here, and take care of yourself. And hopefully, I'll see you next week. And you, Mr. T, take care, mate. And thanks for kicking us off tonight. And to everyone else watching, there's a few more. Take it easy, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thumbs up and the stream. Good night.